Our friend has been with us all season long, Dave Bartoo, College Football Matrix, CFBmatrix.com, and he joins us again on the Little Caesars Hot and Ready Hotline. We are always super grateful to him. I was reading, I don't know if it came, I read it yesterday, I don't know if it came up before then, about your the pace of play. You had a pace of play article up. Mm-hmm. And I would like you to explain. In Oklahoma, we're looking, here, OU is looking for a new offensive coordinator. And so they are, it's like, with the hodgepodge of returning players, it's like, well, I mean, they're not really stocked at wide receiver. Do you really want to go spread? Do you want, or do you want to slow it down? You got this Samaje Perine fellow. He seems to be pretty good. But everybody kind of scoffs, especially the way the Big 12 has become. Everybody kind of cringes at the thought of going more pro style and going less spread and going, slower tempo and not going faster. Well, is there a correlation? You did all the research, so I'm going to make you do it. Is there a correlation between pace of play and wins these days in college football?
No.
Why not?
There's not. Because so many teams are just running fast for the sake of running fast, and many of them, I believe, inside the numbers, are not finding their balance. And so you have teams that are, their pace of play, their plays per minute in a football game, average plays per minute. When you look at all of the top teams that have run real fast throughout a season, most of them are a who's who of teams that have underperformed. That haven't done that well. Yeah, there's Oregon in there one time, Baylor's in there a couple times, but most of it is, your Houston, Texas Tech, Indiana. I mean, teams like that. The number that I have found so far, and, because I'm always searching for a new angle at looking at things, is not pace of play, but points per play. Okay,
mm-hmm.
which makes more sense as offensive efficiency. The more points you're scoring every time you snap the ball, the more efficient your offense is. Give you a great example, okay, right in your backyard, because, I see Oklahoma, okay, the 2008 season. The pace of play for Oklahoma ran about 2.85 plays per minute. This year's Ducks team is 2.9, okay? So, that 2.8, 2.9 range, that seems to be, a good one for Oklahoma. But in that season, Oklahoma's points per play was .593 points per play. Okay? Oregon this year leads the country at .571. Oklahoma in the last 10 years, that 2008 season, was one of the most offensive efficient seasons in the last decade. Their points per minute of possession was almost 1.7, double 2013. Okay, so when you start talking, when you start talking about pace of play, it's not as important as how effective you are scoring the football with those plays.
How about TCU? Because one of the I'm interested in TCU's numbers this year, and if you could kind of put that in perspective for our listeners, because Sonny Cumbie, the offensive coordinator, is I'm assuming is the top candidate here right now for offensive coordinator at Oklahoma. So is there any correlation there as to the success?
I'll get to TCU's number, but there's something I want to point out with Oklahoma. Okay, is the program, because you've had two offensive coordinators in the last 7 years, right? Your program is without an identity offensively. It is not being consistent, okay? Because at Oklahoma in the last 7 years, plays per minute has ranged from 2.5 all the way up to 3.1. It's a huge variance, okay? And I'll compare it against Oregon. Now, keep in mind, Oregon in the last 7 years has had 3 different head coaches, okay? Now, Oregon in the last 7 years, they're averaging over 0.5 points per play. Every single play for 7 years, okay? Because they're very consistent in what they're doing. If you look at their plays per minute, it is between 2.85 and 3.0 every single year. They're very consistent. Oklahoma is struggling, in my opinion, inside the numbers. They're struggling to figure out who the heck they are. They're all over the place. They go fast, they go slow. You have great efficiencies and you have terrible years of efficiencies. It's all over the place. To me, when I look at these numbers, offensively, there's not been a consistent game plan at the program over the last 7 years. Now, moving on to TCU, but I just really, that was one of them.
No, that's good.
I was looking at this, and I love trying to tell stories with the numbers, and I got a buddy, Alan, over at Blatant Homerism. He's always asking me questions, and I'm like, okay, Oklahoma, what's going on there? Because it was also an elite recruiter up till about 5-6 years ago, and now, boom, it's dropped down to the next tier. It was national championship level recruiting. Now it is conference championship level recruiting. So there's a lot of things, and so these last 7 years, it's been all over the place. And so I think the best word, single word to describe Oklahoma inside the numbers the last 7 years is inconsistent. So
it matches the eye test, by the way. That absolutely does. But yes, keep going.
Well, and see, and I try not to watch football games.
Right.
I know it sounds really funny that way, but I try not to watch them. And usually when I do, I listen to them on mute because I don't want the announcers, people, I don't want anything affecting what I see in the numbers. I try to tell the story with the numbers, and if I listen to people too much, it messes things up.
Right. I hear you.
So, except your show. I'll stream it live.
Of course. God bless you, yeah.
Yeah, so TCU, now here's the thing, is everybody says TCU has been running really fast. Absolutely not. Their plays per minute until this year, over the last 7 years, until this year, was below average in college football. They don't run that fast. But here's the thing,
this year was the coming out party. And it was with this Sonny Cumbie character. So
exactly. Okay. Now, how long has Sonny been there?
Just 1 year. This was his first year.
Just 1 year. Okay. Now, this year, yes, their pace of play was 2.88 plays per minute, which is almost exactly what Oregon is at. TCU almost averaged a half a play on offense, or half a point on offense per play, and that includes punts, okay? So you're talking top 5 in the country, top 10 in the country in points per play from the offensive side, but they're not running out of control, okay? When you start seeing teams that are running 3.1, 3.2 plays per minute every single game, in my opinion, you're starting to get borderline out of control. That's not an efficient offense. There's a balance there, and we're seeing college football being balanced. Okay, plays per minute and points per play only increased to 0.02% last year. So college football, it's almost exactly the same as 2013. We're finding a nice balance. So TCU, even though it's 1 year, what I like inside the numbers on TCU is, yes, they picked up the pace of play, but they didn't pick it up to the point where it was out of control. And from an efficiency standpoint, at a half a point per play, that's an elite number right there. That's where if Oklahoma gets there and stays there, that's the problem for it the last 7 years. It's a roller coaster. It's all over the place. Is if this is the guy that can come in and give you that consistency, that would be great. Keep in mind, over the last 10 years, every single team, including those 3 Alabama teams, because it's not about pace, it's about efficiency. Every single team in college football that has won a national title for 10 straight years, including Monday, has averaged over 0.4 points per play for the entire season going into their national championship game. So unless you can get, if you can't get over 0.4, you got nothing. So with this guy at almost 0.5, I love the numbers. I like how he brought the pace up, but didn't get it out of control. It's only 1 year, but I wouldn't have an argument against bringing the guy in.
All right, Dave Bartoo with us, CFBmatrix.com, and follow him on Twitter at CFBmatrix. All right, let's talk about the national championship game. First off, let's talk about how they got there. What stood out to you from a number standpoint in either one of the semifinals?
I'm surprised that Oregon kicked the crap out of Florida State so bad. Maybe I was disappointed in Florida State, or I just didn't believe in Oregon that much, and I'm a lot tougher on Oregon since I graduated from that school. So, and I really didn't expect them to be here. They're one of my ultimate outliers of all time, because if they win Monday, they're defying all sorts of numbers and odds from a recruiting and talent standpoint.
How so? Give me an example. Yeah.
Okay, this century. Okay, this century, every single winner of the national title game, every single one of them has at least 2 top 10 recruiting classes in the previous 4 years before winning their national title. If Ohio State wins this Monday, it'll be another one in a row, okay? Oregon,
Wow.
Okay, so Oregon, their best class in the last 4 years is number 10. That's their best one. Everybody that has won from 2000 through 2014, every single one of them has 2 single-digit classes. Oregon doesn't have a single one, okay? Every single one of them has 3 top 15s. Oregon has 1 top 15 class.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, now, and I know there's people going, oh, recruiting doesn't mean anything. Dude, when, maybe in some games, but overall, when you talk about ultimate winning, it is elite talent. Now, Ohio State shouldn't really surprise people. The reason that Ohio State's such a huge surprise is because third-string quarterback.
Right.
And I can't imagine Oregon or Alabama or anybody trying to win with their third-string quarterback this late in the season. Unbelievable from that standpoint. But keep in mind, Ohio State over the previous 4 years, the only team that has out-recruited them after attrition is Alabama. That's it. They have the talent. They have the speed. This whole Oregon has more speed than Ohio State. That's garbage. Oregon's soft compared to Ohio State. That's garbage, too. I never played Division I football, but until a Division I football player honestly says Oregon soft, I don't think there's a single soft player in the world out there. All these athletes are busting their butts. So, it's that's the thing that surprises me about Oregon is that from a talent standpoint, from a recruiting standpoint, they haven't put it together like everybody else. Before them, they're only the 3rd team in the last 15 years to make a national championship game and not be a top 15 recruiter over the previous 4 years. I mean, then they've done it twice. They did 2010 and now. I mean, they are such an anomaly. And like I said before, what's amazing, too, is they've gone through 3 head coaches. Helfrich is number 3 in 7 years.
Right. I think that's what gets me. I've always kind of, and this is not numbers-based at all, this opinion that I'm about to give you, Dave. Dave Bartoo with us, by the way, said, I didn't want to ever call it a gimmick, but with Chip Kelly gone, I just assumed, okay, this is Chip Kelly's group, and Helfrich, God bless him, is going to do really good with this talent, but not in national championship good. It's just not going to happen.
No. See, I totally agree with you there. See, that's one of the things that my numbers usually back up a lot of people's gut feelings. Okay, and so see, you and I, your gut's conflicted, and maybe it's hungry. And my brain's conflicted because the numbers aren't adding up. And then you throw in the fact of the new head coach, they're on their 2nd defensive coordinator, they're on their 4th offensive coordinator in 7 years. Yet they this is a program, this is the only team, 5 straight years above a half point per play, every play, for 5 seasons. There isn't another team out there that has averaged more than a half point a play per season in 3 of the last 5 years. Oregon's done it for 5 straight years. Imagine that. 65 straight games, and every time you snap the ball, it's worth over a half point.
Dave Bartoo with us, College Football Matrix. How much of an anomaly, real quick, how much of an anomaly, there we go, was Florida State this year? Or were they at all?
No. Well, you mean in terms of going undefeated?
Yeah, in terms of going undefeated all the way up to the college football playoff.
Here, their biggest detriment, in my opinion, and the numbers don't back this up because there is no number for it. Their biggest detriment is winning the national title because they got the entitlement hangover. They worked. I mean, Florida State, their points per play last year was 12.5% better than Oregon's, and Oregon leads the country this year. I mean, Florida State was the single most efficient offense of the last decade last year. Unbelievable. But they won. And so the concern was immediately complacency. And how many times have we seen it? Texas wins a national title. Boom, faceplant. Michigan face-planted for 20 years. One of the most amazing things Saban did is keep Alabama focused after winning in 2009. So I think Florida State's biggest enemy was itself. But you're talking about, after attrition, top 5 recruiter in the country. They were one of 7 teams coming into the 2014 season that over the previous 4 years out-recruited everybody on their schedule. There were 7 teams that out-recruited everybody on their schedule this year. 4 of them made the playoffs. That's how important that talent is, even though they just kept winning a little bit by little bit. And, yeah, going undefeated, amazing. You know, the last 900 times people have tried in FBS to go 12-0, it's only happened 13 times. Florida State did it for the 14th time this year. They're the only third team to ever go back-to-back 12-0, 12-0. So, you know, it's a little bit of an outlier from the idea that going back-to-back undefeated is incredibly difficult. But from the overall talent gap of their team versus the rest of their schedule, no, it's not that big of a surprise.
All right, so are all of your historical numbers in terms of recruiting shying you away from Oregon, or are you just delving into just this season and with your prediction?
No,
on Oregon?
I hate bowl season, dude. It messes everything up. This is the wackiest one ever, too. There was listen to this. 39 bowls. Okay, during the regular season, Vegas favorites won 79% of the time. Okay, 39 bowls.
Did they really?
21 dogs won outright this in bowl season. 21 out of 39. But it's like 60% of all the dogs won outright. So it's just totally wacky. I would prefer to be a fan and not pick this game, because if I go by what the Matrix says, you go by the better Coach Meyer and you go by the better overall talent, Ohio State.
That kills you. You're an Oregon boy. It kills you.
No, it does, but you know something. Like I said, I'm harder on Oregon than anybody else because that's where I went to school. But at the same time, you know, those are the numbers that have backed it up. That's what it says.
Well, that's the
guarantee.
guarantee.
It happens on Monday.
You get to do the guaranteed happiness bet. That's the best bet. Where you take the other side, and then you're a winner either way. Either your team wins, or go ahead and pay for your national title. That's all.
No. See the system's taking the other side. I'm just a pawn in this thing. The Matrix makes me do it. I just spit out. I tell the stories of what the numbers give me. But no, if Oregon does win it, I'm looking at it from the standpoint, I'm not seeing this again in my lifetime. I think this is a fairy tale run for Oregon. It's unbelievable. I honestly, inside the numbers, don't know how they're doing it, because everybody's trying to replicate it. Nobody can figure it out. And to be able to perform at this level with this kind of talent, unlike anybody else in the past, it's a little surreal. So if they win, great. If they lose, I can accept that. I'm just going to have a whole lot of fun with it.
Don't give me if they win, great. You're going to be like you're going to be doing jumping jacks. Get out of here with if they win, great. You're going to be like, yeah, hell yeah.
I've been looking at numbers so long, it's kind of numbed. It's numbed me to the whole thing. I even sold out. I had eight tickets to the national championship game, and I'm selling my last pair on eBay right now. Go out there and bid it up.
Why aren't you going? You just said this is a once in a lifetime thing. Why aren't you going?
No, it's not a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I already went to the one against Auburn.
Oh, are you superstitious?
Plus, you don't get to have fun. See, if I was going to go to the national championship game and they won, I would just want to streak across the field and get arrested and tased and have a really good time. And it's just mundane.
Exactly. So don't give me if they win, great, because you want to streak.
Yeah, but I can't.
Do it with me.
I can't. There's going to be too much security.
Go out like this. Do it with me. Go out like this. And we'll just let you go. We'll just go right to break with you doing this, and we appreciate you doing it. Do the quack. Do the quack. 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 Do it. Do it, Bartoo.
What do you mean? Do the quack? I don't have a death call here.
It's like a slow quack instead of a slow clap. Quack. 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 Do it with me. Quack. Quack.